A dead moon, 3 o'clock galactic time lightning cracked across the skies of Veridex. Forgotten moon floating on the edge of the known galaxy. Wind screamed across its rocky surface. The old prison asteroid, the one they called Black Silence, was quiet now, but something inside it had changed. Far beneath the surface, heavy doors creaked open. Steam hissed out into the darkness. A red light flickered on in the hallway. Then footsteps echoed slow, heavy, unstoppable. Riker, Kane had awakened. 3 days after the Thalos massacre, inside a hidden hangar, the strike team stood in a half-circle. Riker stepped forward. His armor was old, but powerful, thick, black, reinforced with forged alloy. Scars and burn marks covered the metal. On his back, a heavy plasma blade hummed softly. His eyes scanned the room. Cold, sharp, calculating, no one spoke. The leader of the strike team, a woman with a deep scar across her cheek, broke the silence. "My name is Commander Cira Locke. We're what's left of Earth's Special Unit 9. Riker looked around. 3 soldiers and a junk ship? That's what I've got. She nodded. The rest are dead or in hiding. Riker crossed his arms. And Earth. What's the Council doing? Nothing, Cira replied. They talk. Plan. Vote. Meanwhile, more colonies burn. Riker looked at her. And you want me to do what? She straightened her back. Lead us. One last time. Flashback to 7 years ago. War burned across the Orion system. 2 alien empires fought for control. Earth was caught in the middle. Cities fell. Billions cried out. And then Riker Kane arrived. He didn't ask questions. He gave one order. Cut off the heads. Leave the armies blind. It destroyed command centers. Sabotaged fleets. Hacked stargates. The war ended in a week. But then came the Council's order. Burn a planet that housed enemy leaders, along with 10 million civilians. Riker refused. They locked him away. And now begged for his return. Present inside the ship Nightstar, the ship rattled as it moved through warp space. Inside, Riker studied the galaxy map. Red markers showed lost colonies. Orange dots showed attacked freighters. Only a few blue lights remained. Where's the Valtaria supply chain? Riker asked. Cira pointed to a blinking line. They fuel at Station Echelon 6, heavily guarded. Riker smiled. Perfect. Cut 2. Valtari War Council. The alien generals watched their maps. Earth was weakening. Resistance was scattered. Their victory felt close, until a message came through, from their own supply station, on screen. A Valtari officer screamed, explosions behind him, fire and smoke. They're here. One man. He tore through the walls, then static. The camera feed changed to show the station in flames. A message appeared in every Valtari language. You wanted war? Now choke on it. RC inside the burning station, minutes before smoke curled from broken vents. Valtari soldiers lay unconscious or dead. Riker moved through the chaos like a shadow, precise, unstoppable. Behind him, Sphera's team followed. No survivors, she said. Riker shook his head. Only those who pulled triggers. The rest get one chance to run. Cira frowned. Still believe in rules? Riker didn't answer. He dropped a data spike into the station's mainframe. A virus spread across Valtari systems, exposing fleet positions. We're not just hitting back, he said. We're rewriting the war. Later, hidden outposts on Targon-3, the team gathered in a quiet cave beneath a frozen mountain cow. Stood in the corner, arms crossed. He looked tired. You killed 200 Valtari today, he said, and you smiled. Riker looked at him. I did what you couldn't, Callan's voice cracked. I tried peace, and they spit on it. Riker stepped closer. I gave them a choice once. Long ago they said no. Now, I'll make sure they never forget that mistake. Callan backed away. We'll start another war. Riker's eyes narrowed. No, I'll end one. Elsewhere, the Valtari homeworld, the Supreme War Commander of the Valtari Zerika, slammed a clawed hand into his control panel. He lives, Zarek hissed. The Black Star lives. One of his lieutenants stepped forward. We are hunting him. We've sent bounty fleets, drones, assassins, Xerot growled. He's a human. One human. The lieutenant shook his head slowly. He is not just a human, he is Riker Kane. On the Night Star in orbit above a broken world, Riker stared down at the ruins of Midway Reach. Once a beautiful spaceport, now only ash remained. Children's toys floated in zero gravity. Burned buildings collapsed, under their own weight. He clenched his fists. Syrah joined him at the window. Still think they can be reasoned with? She asked. Riker spoke quietly. I used to. She looked at him. And now, I think they need to learn fear. Seen a secret broadcast across the galaxy suddenly. Across hundreds of alien networks. A message appeared. Human-coded. Old military encryption. To all who watch. The Veltari lied. They killed our diplomats. They burned our homes. Want peace? You won't get it from them. But you will get it. It's from me. You'll get it in fire. You'll get it in silence. And when the last Veltari warship falls, the galaxy will know humans asked for peace, and we were denied. The message ends with Riker's face. It's cold and shadowed. The galaxy listens. Some fear, some cheer. But all remember final scene. Inside a dark room on Earth, the council watches the broadcast. Some are angry, some are silent. One old general stands, maybe. We needed a monster after all, another counselor whispers. No, we needed a mirror. Just didn't like what we saw. Broadcast from a neutral world, the peaceful world of Varela Prime had never seen war. Its cities were tall, white, and full of light. Birds flew above crystal towers. People from many species walked together in peace. Now they watched their giant skyscreen in silence. A message flashed across every channel. Historic Peace Summit. Earth and Veltari, to meet again location. Varela Prime, live in 12 hours. All weapons banned. All armies must stay away. Ambassador Callan Voss was shown on screen, looking hopeful. The blood must stop, he said. We must talk again. People clapped. Some cried. Others whispered, will it work this time? The ship Night Star orbiting Varela Prime Syrah Locke stared at the screen in disbelief. He's going back to them. After all they did? Riker Kane stood still, watching the same message play over and over. Callan Voss had gone behind. Riker's back. He had organized a second peace meeting. He's a fool, Syrah said. This is a trap. Riker didn't speak. He walked slowly to his armor case, opened it, and began suiting up. You're going? She asked. I need to look into their eyes, Riker said. One last time. Peace Hall. Varela primed up. Grand Dome was full of light and sound. Alien leaders from dozens of worlds stood around the circular table. All weapons were sealed at the entrance. The guards were neutral Varelan peacekeepers. No one was allowed to harm another in this place. Callan Voss stood at the center. He looked tired but proud. He turned as the Veltari leaders arrived. Silver, armor, red glowing eyes. Tall and quiet, their leader Zalvek stepped forward. Earth requests peace again, he asked coldly. Callan nodded. It's not too late. Can still end this. A few whispers rose from the crowd. Then another figure entered the dome. Footsteps, heavy, measured gasps, filled the room. Riker Kane had arrived. No weapon, just a black coat over his battle armor. His presence alone made several aliens step back. Zalvek's red eyes narrowed. You, he said. Riker said nothing. He took a seat beside Callan. The peace table words turned to fire. Callan began. He spoke of mercy, of rebuilding, of the lives lost on both sides. We don't want to destroy you, he said. We only want peace. Zalvek listened quietly, then stood. You humans pretend to be kind, he said. But you sent a killer. You sent a Riker. You sent him. Riker finally spoke. You attacked us first. You raided our space. You burned our colonies. You called for peace, Riker said, voice calm. Then you killed our diplomats. Zalvek leaned forward. Because Earth is weak. The room went silent. Riker leaned back in his chair. You still don't get it, he said. We offered peace. You spilled blood. He stood up slowly. So I came to remind you what humans do when you take everything from us. Callans. A final try, please, Callan said, stepping between them. This isn't helping. If we talk longer, if we understand each other, Zalvek raised a hand. We understand you perfectly. And then it happened. From his wrist, a blade shot out hidden until now. He lunged for Riker, but Riker was faster, even unarmed. Riker grabbed Zalvek's arm, twisted, and slammed him onto the table. The blade clattered to the floor, screams rang out. Peacekeepers rushed in. Other Valtari leaders stood, shouting in their language. Sira's voice came through Riker's earpiece. Riker, we've got a problem. A Valtari fleet just appeared above Varela. They're not here for peace. Backdoor explosion. Chaos begins. Suddenly the rear wall of the dome exploded. Smoke filled the chamber. Valtari soldiers in black armor rushed in, opening fire. This wasn't a peace summit. It was an ambush. Sira and her team, waiting in orbit, saw it all from hacked feeds. Deploy now, she shouted. Within seconds, shuttles from the Night Star dropped through the clouds. Inside the dome, Riker unleashed in the chaos. Riker found a dropped baton and used it like a sword. He moved through the attackers with deadly skill striking, dodging, protecting the innocent. Callan pulled injured diplomats to safety. Coughing through the smoke, Sira and her team burst through the roof windows. Landing in the center with smoke grenades and shields, extract Riker, she ordered. But Riker had his own plan. He grabbed Zalvekunded, but Olivin dragged him through the side exit. Outside, a private conversation with a tyrant Riker slammed Zalvek against a wall. You could have ended this, he growled. You could have chosen peace. Zalvek laughed through the blood on his face. We only respect power. Riker leaned closer. Then power is what you'll get. He knocked him out cold and left him there. Evacuation and aftermath Sira's. Team loaded survivors into transports. Callan limped toward Riker. You were right, Callan said. I was wrong. Riker helped him aboard. There's no peace with monsters, Riker said. There's only price. Seen Valtari War Council. Again Zareka slammed his fist. Zalvek. Failed. They lived. They escaped. Another general asked, what do we do now? Zarak turned toward the star map. We take Earth. All of it. He pointed to the Earth system. Burn it. Back on the Night Star, orbiting farther out, Nariker sat alone in his quarters, helmet on the table. The stars moved outside the window. Sira entered quietly. The galaxy knows the truth now, she said. He saw the Valtari break a peace meeting. Riker looked at her. It's not enough. What's next? She asked. He looked down at a blinking point on the galaxy map. Valtari Fleet Command. I showed them we can talk, Riker said. Now I'll show them what happens when you lie. Final scene, a new broadcast. Cross the stars, another. Message appeared. I came to your table unarmed. You came with blades. Now I come with fire. Space was quiet. Then, Idwalth 50 Valtari warships dropped out of FTL just beyond the Earth system. Black ships shaped like knives covered the stars. Inside each one, weapons powered up. The largest ship, Dominion's Wrath, led the fleet. Voice echoed across Earth's outer satellite network. We are the Valtari. You were offered surrender. You chose resistance. Now you face destruction. Human defense officers stared at their monitors, speechless. They're here, one whispered. Earth is next. Inside Earth's command center, panic and fire alarms rang. Screens turned red. The council shouted at each other. Why didn't we prepare? We trusted the treaty. Where's the fleet? Where's General Riker?
Number.
One had answers. Then a voice came through the secure channel, calm, cold, familiar. This is Riker Kane. Hold your fire. They are not your kill. In deep space, Riker's fleet awakens far beyond Earth's edge. A new fleet began to move. Black ships, silent, sleek, covered in cloaking panels. No flags, no ID. These were Riker's ships built in secret using broken war codes, dead space, stations, and stolen tech. He called it the Shadow Line. Inside the command ship Black Echo, Sierra stood beside Riker, watching the enemy. "We're outnumbered 6-1, she said. Riker didn't blink. "They brought ships. We brought silence." She smirked. "Skyfire Protocol?" He nodded. She tapped her gums. "Gin." Seeing the Voltari attack, begins Voltari cannons charged. Energy blasts, ripped toward Earth's outer defenses. 3 human satellites exploded. But then, something strange happened. The rest of the Voltari ships began to lose power. Their lights flickered. Engines died. Weapons jammed. One by one, ships went dark. Inside Dominion's Wrath, the Voltari commander screamed, "What is happening?" A tech officer looked at him in fear. "Sir, we've been infected." A video began playing on every Voltari screen. It was Riker. "You called us weak. You said we couldn't fight. I warned you. This is the price of betrayal. This is Skyfire." Flashback. What is Skyfire Protocol? Years ago, during the Orion Wars, Riker created a secret AI weapon. It could hijack enemy systems using fragments of their own tech. It was never used. The Council said it was too dangerous, but Riker had kept a copy. Now, Skyfire was alive, spreading like fire across the Voltari fleet. Their ships weren't just disabled. They were now targets, seen. The human fleet attacks Riker's Shadow Line uncloaked. They moved fast and quiet, slipping between dead Voltari ships like ghosts. No warning. No speeches. Just action. One by one, the Voltari ships exploded. Silent missiles, EMP mines, stealth drones cutting through armor. Inside Black Echo, Riker gave short commands. Ship 7, blind it. Ship 15, disable engines. No escape. Pods. Sierra looked at him. "You said no survivors?" "Only those who didn't shoot," Riker said. "Same rule as always." Seeing the burned sky over the Earth's edge, flames danced across the stars. Voltari ships broke apart one by one, till only a few remained. They tried to run. Riker let them. "Let them carry the fear home," he said. Earth's command. Room total silence. The Council watched it all in real time. A battle that should have been Earth's final hour ended in just minutes. A young officer whispered, "We didn't lose a single ship." The Council leader swallowed hard. What is Riker now? No one had an answer. Meanwhile, Voltari High Command in Cowers-Era stared at the report in disbelief. 44 ships, gone. One of his advisors trembled. It was their AI, a ghost weapon. Another general added, "He's not just fighting back. He's making a point." Zarok roared, smashing a table in two. "No more tricks, no more games. Fight. If he wants fire, then he will face our sun." Back on the Black Echo, after the battle, Sierra stood with Riker as crews repaired the ship. "Earth owes you," she said. Riker didn't respond. She looked at him. "You don't look happy." Riker stared out the window, watching pieces of Voltari ships float past. "They were proud," he said quietly. "Too proud to listen, too proud to live." She crossed her arms. "What's next?" Riker turned slowly. "Now we burn what's left of their pride." Seeing the message that shook the galaxy, Riker sent another message across all major systems. Every race, every faction, every outpost saw it. "You watched Earth bleed. You stayed silent. Now you watch us rise. Peace. You mocked it. Now we offer a warning. Join us, or stand aside. Because when the sky turns red, it means I've come knocking." Final scene, a hidden voice in the darkness, far beyond even Voltari space. By a strange, ancient station received Riker's message. Inside, a figure watched in shadow. A whisper filled the air. "The humans, they are waking up. We may have waited too long. It's time to be continued." Next episode, the mother planet burns. Caranvex, the heart of the Voltari Empire, was once a place of beauty. Black mountains rose over burning orange skies.
Cities floated in the air. The towers were sharp and tall, full of fire and pride. But now fear had arrived. Every screen.
On the planet showed Riker Kane's latest message: join us or stand aside. When the sky turns red, I've come knocking. People watched in silence. For the first time in centuries, the Voltari were afraid. Inside the Voltari war, Hal Zaraka, Supreme Commander, slammed his claws on the command table. His voice was a roar. He wants our home. He'll get ashes. A younger general, nervous, spoke up. We should prepare evacuation. Protect the young. Xerox turned and struck him to the ground. We are warriors. We do not run. Another voice spoke from the shadows. Quiet, cold. But perhaps we should. The room fell silent. From the dark came Elazar, the ancient strategist, once thought dead. His skin was pale. Its eyes glowed faintly. If Riker Kane reaches Caranvex, we don't face war. We face extinction. Seeing the black echo in deep space inside the ship, Riker stood before the war map. Red lines circled Caranvex. Saralok entered. You're really going to do it? She asked. Go straight for the mother planet. Riker nodded. End it at the source. Callan Voss stepped in behind her, face pale. Riker, if you burn their world, the entire galaxy will turn on us. Riker stared at him. No, they'll finally understand we never wanted this, but we will finish it. Callan stepped closer. There are children down there. Riker didn't flinch, and their leader should have thought of that before burning. Hours. Flashback. The burning of Thalosny. Children screaming. Buildings crumbling. Fire swallowing the sky. Riker watched the old video again, jaw tight. The voice of young Jace played on a loop. They said they wanted peace. Then they killed everyone. Riker turned the screen off. I made a promise. Operation Emberfall begins. Riker's fleet moved in silence through black space, cloaked by Skyfire tech. The Black Echo, leading the way, dropped stealth drones. Ahead, on every screen aboard the fleet, a countdown began. Emberfall. 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 48 seconds. The plan was simple. No large battles, no slow siege. Cut the planet's sky defense, drop the signal beacon, transmit the final demand. If they refused, fire from orbit, seen Voltari high atmosphere of Elatari. Sky cannons opened fire as soon as the human fleet decloaked. Missiles ripped the air. But Riker's ships moved like shadows. Syrah's voice rang over comms. Skygate 1 down. Skygate 2 offline, targeting towers destroyed. Within minutes, the planet's entire defense net collapsed. The sky turned red with fire. Inside the council, Tower Karan Vexarak watched as the city trembled. Screens showed Earth's flag and Riker's mark. Arcee burned into a steel wall near the capital. He screamed, "Where is their demand?" A beep echoed. One final message came through. Surrender your war command. Disband your fleet, or your son will fall next. Riker? Kenzerak's advisors begged him, surrender, save the people. The guy looked out at the red sky. I would rather burn. Inside the Black Echo, final decision. Syrah looked at Riker. He refuses. Callan stepped forward, eyes desperate. There are millions down there who don't agree with him. This isn't justice, it's vengeance. Riker turned slowly. This isn't vengeance, he said. It's balance. But he didn't give the order. Instead, he tapped into the planet's emergency broadcast. Riker's final speech echoed across Caranvex people of the Voltari. I was once like your leaders, proud, angry, blinded by loyalty. I gave mercy, I asked for peace, and your leaders answered with fire. So now I give you one last choice. Remove them, or burn with them. Unexpected scene, uprising in the street, Sinza capital. Thousands of Voltari civilians marched toward the war tower, unarmed, screaming in their own tongue. No more war, step down. Guards tried to hold them back, but more joined. Inside the war hall, Xerox stood at the top of the tower, watching the chaos. His generals abandoned him. His empire cracked beneath him, and then People stormed the gates. Riker watches in silence. Sierra whispered, "You didn't need to fire a shot." Riker looked tired, only lit the match. It burned the throne. Themselves. Seeing Callan Voss recording a new treaty later that day, Callan stood in a virulent embassy. The new Voltari diplomats, chosen by their own people, stood beside him. "We write this treaty in blood and ash. No more invasions, no more war fleets. Earth will be left in peace. And Riker Kane will never be hunted again." Back on Earth, the world reacts. Children played in the streets of New Berlin. Farmers returned to fields in Alaska Dome. The lights came back on in orbit. People whispered Riker's name like a legend. Some called him a monster, others called him a savior, but all agreed on one thing. He ended the war. Final scene, deep in. The Black Echo Riker stood alone in a quiet room, holding a photo of Thalas 9. The boy's face just smiled from a screen. Sierra entered. Silent, he spoke without looking at her. "I kept my promise." She nodded. Then the lights dimmed, and a new alert appeared on their screen. Unknown transmission. Source: uncharted system. Message: "We watched what you did. We're next. Come find us, Riker Kane." He stared at the screen, and for the first time in a long time, he smiled. A strange signal echoed through the galaxy. No one knew where it came from. No one knew who sent it, but it had one name in it: Riker Kane. It repeated over and over in different voices. Some sounded human, some did not. Riker stood on the bridge of the Black Echo, watching the waveform of the message on the screen. The voice was broken, robotic, and full of static. "You are not finished. You are not ready. You stopped a war, you know. Meet the ones who start them." A set of coordinates followed, deep space, far beyond any star maps. Into the dark between galaxies, Saralok leaned forward. "It's a trap." Riker didn't blink. "I hope so." Scene Council meeting on Earth Council gathered to discuss the signal. Everyone was tense. Callan Voss stood at the center. "This is beyond Valtari, beyond anything we know." One counselor spoke, shaking. "Let Riker go alone. If he dies, at least Earth stays safe." Another added, "We just made peace. Why chase shadows?" Callan answered, "Because Riker doesn't run from shadows. He hunts them." Scene Journey into the Void, the Black Echo moved through dead space, escorted by only 2 small stealth ships. There were no stars now, no signals, no light. For days, it drifted in silence, until a massive object appeared in the dark. Not a planet, not a ship. A floating city, the size of a moon, made from black metal, shaped like a claw gripping nothing. Sierra stared at it. "What is that?" Riker answered softly. "The reason no one's ever heard of it is because no one's ever survived it." Seen boarding the Shadow City, a docking arm reached out like a long bone. The Black Echo connected. Riker, Sierra, and 2 soldiers stepped out. No resistance, no guards, only silence. The inside of the city was ancient, full of deep shadows and glowing runes. The air was cold and dry. They moved slowly through massive halls that echoed with every step. Then they heard it, footsteps. Something was coming. Seen. First contact with the builders. A tall figure stepped from the dark. It was not Valtari. It wasn't even fully alive. Its face was covered in a dark mask, its body a mix of flesh and machine. Its voice echoed without sound. "I am a watcher. I speak for the builders." Riker stepped forward. "Why did you call me?" The watcher stared at him. "You burned the Voltari to the ground." "Good. They were unstable." Sierra raised her weapon slightly. "Are you enemies of the Valtari?" The watcher tilted its head. "No. We created them." Flashback: the birth of the Valtaril ago. Before human history, a race known as the Builders spread across galaxies. They created warriors to protect themselves, engineered species designed to conquer and hold. The Valtari were one of many, but they turned wild, broke free. Now the builders were watching again. You humans are different, the Watcher said. You don't follow the rules, you don't break as expected. Riker frowned. And what do you want from us? The Watcher paused. To offer you a choice? Seeing the offer, you can join the circle of control, the Watcher said. Serve us. Rule through our systems. Give you knowledge, power, control over entire sectors. And if we refuse? Riker asked. The Watcher replied without hesitation. Then you become a threat, and we erase threats. Attention builds. The truth revealed. Sira stepped forward, furious. You caused everything, every war, every burned colony. The Watcher nodded. Conflict brings order. The galaxy survives because of the chaos we shape. Riker clenched his fists. You think we'll bow to that? No, the Watcher said. We think you're already doing it. You one piece through. War. You became the very thing we built. Riker stepped close. You're wrong. Then the light shifted. Warning alarms flashed red. The Watcher turned to the wall. They're here. Seen betrayals suddenly. Ships uncloaked outside the Shadow City. Voltari ships. Thousands, but they looked different. Prated. They found us. Sarper. They found us, Sarah said. No, Riker said, jaw tightening. They were called here. What? Second Watcher entered the chamber. You failed the test, Riker Kane. You chose resistance. Now you face our next creation. The Valtari ascended. Battle erupts. Inside and out explosions shook the Shadow City. Outside, Black Echo launched. Its drones. Missiles cut through space. Inside, Riker and his team fought wave after wave of upgraded Valtari soldiers faster, stronger, full of tech stolen from the builders. Sarah was wounded. One soldier went down. Riker pulled her behind cover. We're leaving, he said. She coughed. How? Riker looked up. By doing what they never expect. Seeing the reckless escape, Riker placed a bomb on the Shadow City's core reactor. Sarah gasped. You're going to blow it all? Riker nodded. They think they control war. They think they understand us. Let's remind them. He activated the timer. 2:00 minutes. Escape pod launch. Seconds to spare as the city burned. Riker carried. Sarah through a collapsing hallway. Flames roared behind them. He kicked open an old builder escape pod and threw her inside. Go. What about you? He handed her a data core. Tell Earth. Tell them what's coming. Then he slammed the hatch and activated the launch. Final scene in the darkness of space. The Shadow City exploded in a silent burst of blue fire, lighting up the dead galaxy edge. But no one saw Riker leave. No signal, no ship, no trace. Sarah floated in her pod, whispering, Please, don't let this be the end. The skies above Earth were dark again, not from bombs, not from smoke, but from silence. No word from Riker Kane. Across the world, people lit candles in windows. Children whispered stories of a man who stopped a war and disappeared into fire. Called him many things, the Ghost General, the Black Star, the one who burned the sky. Inside the Black Echo, now returned to Earth, Sirlock sat alone. Her arm was in a sling, her eyes hollow. She replayed Riker's last words over and over. Tell Earth. Tell them what's coming. Seen Earth Council. Emergency meeting. Sira stood before the council. They called it the Shadow Empire. Builders made the Valtari, and worse. They're still making more. She held up the data core Riker gave her. This is all we have. Their plans, their fleets, their locations. One counselor asked, and Riker? Sira's voice cracked. Gone? Another asked, what do you propose we do? She looked up, fire in her eyes. Finish what he started. Flashback deep space drift, but Riker Kane was not dead. Somehow. He survived the Shadow City's destruction, wounded, burned, floating in a lifeless suit. His body drifted for days, until a small drone one of his own found him, his last. Words before blacking out. Not yet. Not done. Seeing Riker wakes up, he opened his eyes inside a dark med bay. A voice spoke through a speaker. You're hard to kill. He sat up slowly. Across from him stood an old friend, Talon, a rogue pilot from Riker's past. Talon grinned. Sira sent your drone data across the network. I figured if anyone deserved a second shot, It was you. Riker looked around. Where are we? Edge of builder space, Talon said, and the galaxy's preparing for war. Seeing the builders make their move across, the star's builder-controlled systems came alive. Dark fleets, shaped like claws and knives, poured out of hidden gates. The Voltari ascended half-machine monsters led the charge. Worlds began to fall. Peace treaties were burned. And above it all, a voice echoed through the stars. This is not your galaxy anymore. We built you. End you. Seeing Riker returns to Earth, the world stopped when he stepped off the shuttle. Sira was there, tears in her eyes. I thought you were gone. Not yet, he said. They stood in silence for a moment before Riker turned to the council and said just one sentence. It's time to strike first. Final plan Operation Black Star. Riker stood before Earth's last leaders, pointing to a glowing star map. We can't fight this war like the last one. Not with walls, not with slow fleets. We go silent. We go smart. We go together. He reached toward the deepest point on the map, the Builder Throne World. Burn that, and the Empire crumbles. Sira stepped forward. We'll need allies. Riker nodded. Then let's give them a reason to fight. Montage across the galaxy. Riker sent a message to every world that ever suffered. You watched us rise. You watched us bleed. But we don't bow. We fight. Join us, or stand aside. Ships from old enemies responded. Voltari rebels, human colonies, even old pirate kings. Together, they formed a single fleet, not under a flag, but under one name, Riker Kane. Seeing the final assault, the last battle began in total silence. Builder defenses surrounded the throne world. Their weapons tore through the first wave, but Riker's fleet moved in Shadow's cloaked ships. AI-guided decoys, gravity bombs. Sira led the ground team. Riker flew the lead fighter. The builders didn't expect the chaos. They expected order, and Earth had never been orderly. Seeing Riker versus the final Watcher inside the builder control tower, Riker found the Watcher again. It was bigger now, upgraded. Burning with stolen tech, you could have ruled, it said. Riker raised his weapon. I chose freedom. They fought blade against blade, strength against speed. Riker was wounded. The Watcher grabbed him by the throat. Your kind dies with you. Riker smiled through blood. Wrong. They rise with me. The final move, he jammed a core. Spike into the Watcher's chest. The builder screamed, and the tower exploded. Final scene, silence. Then light for a moment, all systems went dark. Then, across the galaxy, every builder ship froze and died. The Empire collapsed. People from every world looked to the stars. Knowing who had won, epilogue years later, peace returned. Real peace, no empires, no secret rulers, just rebuilding. Riker Kane walked through a quiet farm field on Earth. No armor, no weapons. Sira stood beside him, smiling. You finally get to rest. He looked up at the sky. It stayed blue this time. Narrated over Starfield, he asked for peace. They gave him war, so he ended both. His name was Riker Kane, and he showed them the price. The sky over Thalos 9 turned black at noon. Dust filled the air. Smoke rose from every corner of the colony. Buildings crumbled. Fires burned where once families had lived. The screams were quiet now. Most people were either hiding or already gone. Inside a small broken room, a young boy pressed a trembling finger against an old recorder. My name is Jace, he said, voice shaking. I'm 9. My parents are gone. I'm sending this message to Earth. Please listen. He coughed as smoke filled the room. Explosions shook the ground outside. We tried to make friends with them. He said we gave gifts. We gave food. Our leaders said the Valtari wanted peace. He looked out the window. A massive alien ship hovered in the sky. Its wings were sharp like knives. Red lights glowed under its belly. Drones flew out like angry bees. But they lied, Jace whispered. They never wanted peace. They smiled. Then they killed everyone. He took a shaky breath and looked into the recorder one last time. He said, "We came in peace." "Ah, look at what they've done." And then the screen went dark. The boy was never seen again. 3 days earlier, Earth orbit the grand ship Starbridge. One floated above Earth, white and gold, sleek and shining. It was the pride of the United Human Alliance. Inside, soft music played. Diplomats moved from room to room, smiling, talking, shaking hands. There were aliens here, 2 ambassadors from over 20 races. But the most important guest was the tall, calm man in the center, Ambassador Callan Voss. He wore a gray coat with a blue Earth emblem. His eyes were gentle, his voice always soft. People trusted him. It ended 3 small wars just by talking. He believed in words more than weapons today. He would try to stop the biggest war yet. The Voltari Dominion had sent a message weeks ago. They wanted peace talks. They claimed that border attacks were mistakes. Earth believed them. Callan believed them. He begged the council to give it a chance. Now, he stood before a large round table as the Voltari envoy entered, tall, insect-like, wearing armor of silver and bone. Their leader had glowing red eyes and no mouth. He spoke through a machine. "We accept the peace of Earth," the voice said. "Let our 2 people end the anger." Callan smiled. "Yes, that is why we're here." They sat. Drinks were poured. The translators but then the lights flickered. A buzzing sound filled the room. The Voltari leader raised one hand. Suddenly panels on his body opened. Guns unfolded. Callan's smile froze. "Wait," the shooting began. Red beams, screams, blood. The Earth diplomats fell in seconds. Security bots rushed in, but they were too late. Callan ducked under the table. A glass panel above shattered and cut his face. He crawled, heart racing, ears ringing. A young assistant lay nearby, eyes wide open but lifeless. The Voltari stormed. The ship room by room, but Callan found a maintenance shaft, crawled, ran, fell, bleeding. Finally, he reached an escape pod, slammed the button. The pod launched into space. As the stars spun around him, he looked back at Starbridge 1, now on fire, and he whispered, "Why?" 2 days later, Earth War Room, the Earth Council sat in silence. Huge screens showed images of the massacre, bodies, blood, smoke. The room was heavy with shock. Callan stood before them, his arm in a sling, face cut, voice hoarse. "They planned it," he said. "The peace talks were a trap." General Howard leaned forward. "What do they want?" Callan's voice broke. "They want to destroy us." On the screen, a map blinked. Red zones appeared, colonies near Voltari space. Attacks were already underway. Thalos 9, Generis midway reach. Millions were in danger. The council leader stood. "We must prepare our fleets." But Callan spoke again. "There's only one person who can stop this now." They all turned to him. "Who?" Callan stared into the distance. Riker Kane, unknown location. Deep space, a dark asteroid spun slowly in silence. It looked dead. But inside, something slept. CRYO-chambers lined the walls of the prison vault. In the deepest cell, behind 10 layers of steel and shield, lay a man, tall, scarred, cold as stone. General Riker Kane. Once he led Earth's greatest army. Once he ended the Orion War with a single move that turned stars into weapons. But he was locked away after refusing an order to burn a planet full of civilians. He said war must have rules. The council disagreed. Now, it was just a frozen ghost. Until today, a sudden flash. Alarms, explosions, shadows moved in the halls. Humans in black armor. It cut through guards like fire through paper. One of them reached the vault. "Hand on the cryolock. Wake him," she said. Steam hissed. The chamber cracked open. Riker's eyes snapped open. Cold. Focused. Angry. "Who the hell are you?" he asked. The woman removed her helmet. "A friend," she said. "The galaxy is on fire. We need the Black Star." Riker sat up slowly. "I told you people. I'm done." She handed him a data pad. On it, Images of Thalos-9 burned. Then the video of little Jace played. He said we came in peace. Riker's jaw tightened. The woman spoke again. They're burning our homes. And they're laughing. Riker stood. Then they've forgotten who we are. He turned to the wall. Pressed his palm on a code lock. The wall slid open, revealing his old battle armor, black heavy, covered in scars from 100 wars. Riker smiled. Ready, my ship. Later, a small ship in warp Kalan Voss sat across from Riker in silence. The ship hummed as it jumped through space. You believed in peace, Riker said quietly. You begged for it, Callan nodded, ashamed. And they used it to slit our throat. I didn't know, Callan whispered. Riker leaned closer. That's the thing about war, Callan. It doesn't care what you believe. It only respects what you do. Callan looked up. What will you do? Riker's eyes were cold steel. I'll remind them who Earth is. He stood and walked to the ship's control panel. A galaxy map flickered on. The Laos-9 fell. Others will fall, unless we. Strike now, Callan swallowed. You mean, fight back? No, Riker said. I mean end it. Burn the idea of war out of their bones. He tapped a blinking point on the map. Our first stop is vengeance. Final scene, Valtari capital Shipay. Valtari commander stood over a map of Earth. Territory grinning through his mask. Humans are weak, he said. They cry for peace. We crush them. Simple, an officer approached. There is news. A prison asteroid was breached. A human escaped. The commander waved his hand. Irrelevant, the officer hesitated. It was General Riker Kane. The commander froze. Silence filled the room. Then the commander's eyes narrowed. Kill him, all of them. It began with silence. No alarms, no calls for help. Just silence. A large mining station floated above a gray, cracked moon. For years, it supplied the Valtari fleet with raw materials, Myron plasma cores, and dark crystal. Thousands of workers lived there. It was considered safe, untouchable, until now. When a patrol ship arrived, they found the station empty. Not destroyed. Not damaged, just empty. No bodies. No signs of life. But deep in the main control room, words were burned into the steel. Wall and hundreds of alien languages. This was mercy. RC, then the entire station exploded. 2 days earlier, inside the ship, Nightstar Riker stood over the war table. Holograms flickered before him, enemy supply lines, fleet routes, weak spots in their communication network. Today, he said, we begin Operation Ashlight. Cyrilloc leaned over his shoulder. You sure about this target? It's not? A military base. It's worse, Riker replied. It feeds their war. Blon. Callan Voss, sitting nearby, looked troubled. There are civilians there, workers, families. You said you follow rules? Riker looked him in the eye. We go in silent. We scare them, but we don't kill the innocent. Syrah frowned. And if they shoot first? Riker answered, cold and calm, then they chose. Flashback Riker's past mission on Taishan Delta. Younger Riker moved through a dark alien city. He wore no armor, just simple clothes. The mission was peace. Back then, he still believed peace was possible. He walked alone into the enemy's capital. He brought food, medicine, maps showing Earth's borders. He asked for talks. They shot him in the leg that night. He burned their weapons depot to the ground, back to present inside mining station. 12X operation began in silence. Riker and his team slipped into the station using a hidden maintenance port. No alarms, no sensors. Syrah took the upper deck with 2 sharpshooters. Riker moved through the control level. He hacked their Kumscut power to their external weapons and sealed docking bays. They didn't even know he was there. Their workers noticed too late. Lights flickered, doors locked. Panic spread. But Riker didn't attack. He sent a message over the internal speaker. Leave, now. This is your only warning. At first, no one believed it, until the first power core overloaded. Scene worker panic. Valtari officer response commander Velinor, in charge of Station 12X, barked orders. Find the humans. Kill them. But his own guard started to retreat. It's Riker Kane, one whispered. He's here, like a ghost. Velinor slapped the soldier. He's one man. But then they found a hallway full of sleeping guards. No wounds, no blood, just unconscious. With the same message burned into the wall, mercy, given once. Meanwhile, Syrah's team plants charge as Syrah moved through the lower decks. She found kids, families, miners too old to run. She didn't shoot. Instead, she opened escape hatches. Go, she told them. One Voltari child looked up at her, confused. Why? Are you helping us? It asked in a robotic translator. Sarah looked down. Because he told me to, she said. Who? The child asked. The man who used to believe in peace. Cut to Riker in the core chamber. Riker placed the last charge on the power regulator. A red glow lit up the chamber. Syrah's voice came over. Comes. Evac pods full. Civilians gone. Riker nodded. Time to leave. Suddenly, gunfire erupted behind him. A Voltari elite squad entered. Sharp armor, heavy blasters. You, their leader shouted. You are the Black Star. Riker raised his weapons slowly. I gave your people a chance. They didn't wait. They fired. Riker moved like lightning. Shots rang out. To Voltari. Fell. One charged with a plasma blade. Riker blocked it with his gauntlet and smashed the alien against the reactor wall. The last one tried to crawl away. Riker walked up and crouched beside him. I don't kill when I don't have to, he said. But your people made a choice. He left the soldier alive. Then he activated the timer. Outside, escape ship has. The Night Star pulled away. The mining station burned behind them. Cal and Voss watched in shock. You emptied a whole station? Without killing civilians? Riker didn't look at him. I told you. I don't want war. But if they force it, I'll show them what war really means. Syrah walked in. What's next? Riker stared at the map. We keep cutting. Scene news spread across the galaxy. Alien networks couldn't ignore it anymore. Riker Kane strikes again. One broadcast said, Station destroyed, no civilian deaths. Another read. Some called him a terrorist, others called him a legend. But one thing was clear. Fear was spreading across Voltari space. Meanwhile, Voltari High Command, in ragged Zaraka, smashed his claws into the floor. He humiliates us. He spares workers, the general argued. The people are starting to respect him, Zarok roared. We crush Earth now. Full attack. No more warnings. Back on the Night Star, Riker's quarters. Riker sat alone. Sharpening a blade, Callan entered slowly. I didn't think it would work. What? Sparing them? Making it a message? I didn't think it would matter. Riker didn't. Stop sharpening. It matters. He looked up. The galaxy thinks humans are soft, that we forgive too much, that we forget. He stood and walked to the window. They're wrong. Final scene. A new message broadcast to Voltari space. I won't kill your families. I won't bomb your homes. But I will break your war. I will starve your fleets. You started this. I'll feel what you gave to us. This is Operation Ashlight. I am Riker Kane. And this is only the beginning.